Okay, so let's now see how to use a unit vector that is perpendicular to vector A and B. So as you know that the formula is u equals to u hat is equals to u over by the magnitude. Okay, your u here has to be the cross product. So from the question 19 here, example 19 here, the question asks us to find all vectors of length square root 11 unit which are perpendicular to both A and B. So we want to find a vector. Okay, all vectors of length square root 11 which are perpendicular to both A and B. So you know that length is your magnitude. Okay, so this is basically your magnitude. Okay, so this is your magnitude which are perpendicular to both A and B. So just let's write that as V. Magnitude of V is equals to square root 11. Okay, since you know that A and B, the unit vector that are perpendicular to both A and B, so this should be your A cross B. So we need A cross B here. So let's find the vector for A cross B. Okay, so here we have the determinant here. We have I, J, K. And here we have 1, 2, negative 1. Here you have I minus 3K. So that will be 1, 0, negative 3. 0 represent J. Okay, so it should be 1, 0, negative 3. Okay, by now you should know how to do this. So remember, plus minus plus, plus minus plus. Okay, I, J, K. Okay, so now let's fill in this formula. Just close your I column here. Negative 3 times 2, we have negative 6. Negative 1 times 0, we have 0. Okay, close this one here. 1 times negative 3, we have negative 3. Negative 1 times 1, we have negative 1. Okay, so here should be minus negative 1 and that will be plus 1. And the last one here, we close this one here. 1 times 0, we have 0. 2 times 1, we have 2. Minus 2. Okay, please just don't get rid the 0 here. You know that 0 minus 2 will be negative. Okay, if you get rid the 0, you might probably mess with the sign here. So here we should have negative 6i. Negative 6i. Here we have minus 2. Minus minus, you should get plus 2j. Minus 2k. Okay, so there we go, our A cross B. So we want to find the magnitude, obviously. Okay, we want to find the magnitude. So A cross B is equals to, we have negative 6 square plus 2 square plus negative 2 square, square root everything. And here we have 36 plus 4, you should get square root 44. If we simplify this, you should get 2 square root 11. Okay, so now if we look at this, we know that A cross B is perpendicular to A and B. So we can find the unit vector, okay, for A cross B. So let's find the unit vector for A cross B. Okay, I want to put it as A cross B hat, or you can put it as V hat also can. Okay, so let me put as V hat, which is the formula is A cross B over by the magnitude of A cross B. Okay, so A cross B here is the vector. Okay, so here what you have to substitute. The vector, we have the vector here and we also have the magnitude. So vector over magnitude, you should get negative 6i plus 2j minus 2k over by the magnitude here, which is 2 square root 11. And we can also simplify by cancel out the 2 here, 2, 2, 2, 2. So you should get negative 3i plus j minus k over square root 11. Okay, so now we have the unit vector that is perpendicular to A and B. And we have the vector, which is A cross B. But that's not what we want. We want to find vectors which length, the magnitude is square root 11. So as you can see, let me just resize this quickly. Oops. Okay, so here we have A, let's say this is your vector A, and this is your vector B. Okay, if we cross these two vector, you should get perpendicular, okay, up here, perpendicular to here, which is this is your normal. And as I explained in the previous video, it can be positive and also negative, okay, positive and negative. So up here is positive, down here is negative. Okay, there are two signs here, so that means this part here, your length here can be positive, negative, square root 11. So now the formula to find the unit vector, so we know that the formula to find the unit vector, we have V equals to V hat, okay, this is your unit vector, okay, unit vector. V hat is equals to the vector divided by the magnitude. Okay, in this case here, the vector is A cross B. Okay, in our case, the vector is A cross B, which is we want to find this thing here. So let's rearrange that. We have V equals to magnitude divide by times multiply by the unit vector. Okay, so we want to find the vector, the new vector here. So let's just put the magnitude that we have from the question, which is plus minus square root 11. And the unit vector here comes from your A cross B. Okay, the unit vector from A cross B here, which is here should be negative 3i plus j minus k over by square root 11. Okay, so as you can see from here, we can cancel out square root 11, which is we end up with two answers because we have plus minus here. So the vectors can be, let's see, let's write V1 is equals to negative 3i plus j minus k, that is positive for positive, and the other one here V2 is equals to, for negative, then this should be 3i minus j plus k. Okay, so that is our two vectors by using the length square root 11. Okay, I hope you understand what I have said here. If you don't understand, please ask. Okay, alright, so let's see one more question for example 20, which is the question asks us to find a unit vector. So you know that your unit vector is U hat, okay, or V hat, or whatever you want, but the question said of the normal to the plane. Okay, of the normal to the plane. Okay, normal is the same thing as perpendicular. Perpendicular, normal is the same thing as perpendicular. As you see from this one here, this is your normal, okay, which is perpendicular to the two vectors. Okay, if we cross these two vectors, this is your normal. So now we have a plane. So let's see, we have a plane here. Let's draw our plane. Okay, just bayangkan kamu ada satu kertas A4. Okay, that is your plane. So on the plane, we have 3 points here, A, B and C. Okay, kamu ambil kertas A4, kamu letak dekat atas meja. Dekat atas kertas tu, kita ada 1, 2, 3 titik. Okay, so we have A, point B and point C. Okay, now the question said we want to find, let's write this as N, okay, N hat, because we want to find the normal. Alright, so what we know from here is that the normal is perpendicular to AB and AC. Okay, can you see that? As for the previous example, we have A, vector B, this is the normal. Okay, and from here we have 3 points. What you have to do here is we have to find the direction vector of AB, we have to find the direction vector of AC, then only we can find the normal of this here. Okay, you have to find the direction vector first. Okay, if you are given a point, you have to find the direction vector. So now we have to find direction vector of AB and direction vector of AC. Remember how to find the direction vector? Here we have AB is equals to O back minus O front. So OB minus OA. So B here we have 310 minus by a, we have 1, negative 1, 2. So here we have the answer 2, 2, negative 2. Okay, and let's find AC. AC is equals to OC minus OA. So OC is negative 1, 2, negative 3. A is 1, negative 1, 2. Okay, remember OC is the position vector. Okay, the direction vector from position vector, which is O to C. Okay, so here we have negative 2, 3, negative 5. Is that correct? Yes. Okay, so we have the direction vector of AB and AC. So now we want to find the normal, which is the normal is perpendicular to these two vectors. Okay, let's say lah ini ialah A kamu, ini ialah B kamu. Okay, perpendicular to these two vectors is this one here. Okay, this is the normal. So what we know is the normal here is perpendicular to direction vector of AB and AC. So from that, you know that your n is equals to here, this one vector is perpendicular to the other two vectors. So that means here you have to find the cross product between these two vectors here. So now let's find the cross product, which is we have n equals to AB cross AC. Okay, my pen is okay. Alright, so we have I, J, K. So the vector of AB is 2, 2, negative 2. The vector of AC is negative 2, 3, negative 5. And now we have the normal, which is we have negative 10 minus 6, negative 10 plus 6. I kat tengah-tengah minus tutup sini, negative 10 minus 2, you have plus 4. Okay, so here should be negative 10 minus 4j. And the last one is plus. Tutup sini, we have 6 minus negative 4. So that will be 6 plus 4k. And here we have the answer negative 4i plus 14j plus 10k. Okay, so that is your normal, okay, which is n, this one here. If we cross these two vector here, one more time, okay, we have two vectors on a plane. If we cross this by using right hand rule, okay, but you don't have to know that, we get a normal. Okay, please remember this because we are going to use this in the application later. Okay, remember one more time, you have one vectors, you have the other one vectors. Okay, if we cross this, you'll get a normal. Okay, so that's why we have a normal here. So now what's the question one? The question one, the unit vector. Okay, the unit vector that is perpendicular to the plane. That's why we have to find the normal here. So by using the formula, we have n, unit vector n hat, equals to the vector divided by the magnitude. Okay, so the vector here is we have negative 4i. Your normal vector is the product of A cross B, okay, plus 14j plus 10k. So the magnitude is square root of negative 4 square plus 14 square plus 10 square, which is the final answer should be negative 4i plus 14j plus 10k over, here we should get 2 square root 78. Okay, and you can just simplify the answer, which is you'll get, okay, at least let me just quickly resize this. Which is your final answer should be negative 4 divided by 2, we should have negative 2 over square root 70i. 14 divided by 2, we have 7 over square root 70j. And 10 over 2 plus 5 square root 70. Okay, the vector has to be separated. Okay, your final answer has to be like this. Okay, tak boleh dalam fraction together like this. Okay, so that is how we find the unit vector that is perpendicular to the normal, perpendicular to both vectors. So basically just find the product rule, the cross product, not product rule, the cross product between the two vectors. In this case, we don't have the two vectors. We have to find it first by finding the direction vector first. Okay, then we have to find the cross product. We'll get the cross product, so we just substitute into the formula of the unit vectors. Okay, so let's see the last example here. Given A and B, by using the vector product, show that A and B are parallel. Okay, what do you remember? If A parallel to B, A cross B is equals to 0. Okay, just remember this, these two line. Okay, just remember that. One more is A perpendicular to B, A dot B equals to 0. Okay, so now what we have to find is basically just A cross B. Okay, so we have I, J, K. We are going to use this all the time in this chapter, so make sure you master to find your cross product. So here we have -6, 3, -12. So let me do it this quickly. We have 12 minus 2i minus -24 plus 24j plus 6 minus 6k, and we'll get the final answer 0. Okay, so if the question said show that, always write your conclusion. Okay, since A cross B is equals to 0, A is parallel to B. Okay, that's it for vector product and a little about unit vectors. So we are going to continue in the next part, in the next video. Thank you.